Hi everyone, my name is Hannah White, and I'm going to get started by telling you a little bit about myself. I guess the most important thing right now, and the newest thing, is that I'm newly engaged. I'm having a lot of fun with the wedding planning and all of that fun stuff. I have grown up in Lidditz, and I still live in Lidditz today. I graduated from Warwick High School in 2010 and went on to go to Millersville and study education. I had the dual major of elementary and special education, and I was one of those people that grew up. I always told everyone that I was going to go to Millersville and I was going to be a teacher. And sure enough, I did. And it was the best decision I ever made, even if it was made when I was 5 years old. Some of my hobbies include traveling. I absolutely love to travel, and especially if I'm able to get to a beach while I'm traveling. Over Thanksgiving, we were lucky enough to go to Punta Cana, and it was amazing. It was nice to not have to deal with anything over the holidays and just kind of sit back and relax. My other hobbies include baking. I love to bake, read, which unfortunately I don't do enough of during the school year. I usually wait until summer, and I have a whole long list of books that I get done reading. I also love spending time with my family. I was going to include a picture on here of my family, but I guess we don't take very good pictures together. I guess with the wedding, good family pictures will come. I am employed by the Lancaster Lebanon IU13 as an itinerant autistic support teacher. I was lucky enough to student teach with the IU, and I got a job right after I graduated. I started off as a classroom teacher, though. It was extremely tough, and I'm glad that I lived through it. I learned a lot, and I think it definitely tested me being a new teacher and being in an extremely tough classroom and dealing with aggressive behaviors. It wasn't ideal, but I learned a lot from it, and I definitely know I'm supposed to be a teacher. I then switched roles to being an itinerant, and I love it. I work with all of my students one-on-one or in very small groups. We work on social skills, emotional regulation. I'm in the Lebanon School District and the Northern Lebanon School District, so I do spend some of my day in the car traveling from school to school, which is also kind of nice because it gives me a little break from everything. Another big part of my job is doing consultation. I work with administrators and teachers, and we work on behavior plans, behavior management, anything that I can do to make my students' days go easier and the teacher's day go easier. Online classes, I've been lucky enough to take a few, and all three, this is my third grad class, and the other two were online as well, and it was great. I love it. My first one was over the summer, and I was working extended school year, taking a class. It was just so convenient, so nice. I was at the beach, and I could just take my laptop out and work on it. I also took some in my undergrad. Not very many though, but I did commute to Millersville, so it was nice to be able to stay home and not have to drive in there and just kind of work on my class at my kitchen table instead of making the long commute and sitting in class. I could work on it when I had the time. As far as the YouTube video goes, the statement that was made about good teaching is good teaching, whether it's online or in a brick and mortar classroom. I would completely, I am in and out of 25 classrooms, and I see a lot of different teaching styles, and I see a lot of different relationships with students. So I think I'm one of those people that just because you're in front of the child teaching them doesn't mean it's good teaching. One of the main things I focus on, and I think it really really makes sense to being a good teacher, is the relationships with my students. If you don't have a good relationship with your student, you're not going to get anywhere. They need to trust you, and once they trust you, I think you can really get them to do anything. Especially in my job, I work with my students one-on-one or in groups of like 2 or 3. So if we don't have a good relationship, those 30 to 45, 60 minutes can be the longest 30 the longest minutes of my day. So I think it's super important to have a good relationship with your students. And that makes it, I think it's one of the main things, if you were to ask me, that makes a good teacher. One of the other things that I really think helps is having that flexibility. And I think online teaching or being in front of the classroom, you need to be able to be flexible. There's different things that you always need to take into account. In the article, she wrote that many teachers feel they were born to teach, and when they envision teaching, it's not an online environment. And I would have to say that I was one of those people. I definitely grew up wanting to be a teacher. I always, like I said, I always told people that I was going to go to Millersville and be a teacher, even when I was 5 and 6. And I never anticipated it, especially when I was 5, being in an online setting. And still, I talked to my grandparents about it, and they're like, what do you mean you're taking classes online? And, I have to explain to them exactly how this is looking. However, I am one person that I love technology. I love my computer is always with me. If it's my work computer or my personal computer, with my work, I have multiple iPads. I love it. I think it is a great way to get my students involved. And my hopes for online teaching is that using it will increase some of my students' life skills. They need to be able to use technology. A majority of them do have technology at home, but I also have a handful of students that do not have tablets. They do not have computers. They have mom's cell phone that they are able to use. However, they're playing games on it. They're not really using it for life skills that they will need. And I think that is one of my hopes, is to increase it, help them be able to maneuver a computer. I know when I was in school, we had like computer class and we were taught to type and use different things. And we did different projects. The schools I'm at now don't have that. One of my school districts is one-to-one, which is awesome. Unfortunately, my other one isn't. And there aren't enough tablets and everything for each student to even have one in the classroom if they're doing an activity. I also think an online teaching would really be helpful for me in my flexibility. I do travel from school to school. 2 of my days a week, I'm in 8 different schools. And I think it would be a great way for me to just set up somewhere and kind of bring everyone together. I think we could get all my kids talking in an online environment, and I think it would be great. After watching the cyber school commercials, one thing definitely popped up in my brain, and I think it was Standard C. They all talk about like the individualized plan, and this is the way we go. We work with the family and the student, and we kind of go in the way they want us to go, which I think is great. And as a special education teacher, I get that to a point because, we work with IEPs and everything. So a lot of my kids do have, we get together with the parents and we really have that individualized plan. However, one thing I also noticed in the commercials was that there was no data. And I know I live by data. That's what I do all day. I collect data and then I analyze it. And I think that's at least to me, it was a little concerning. So I'm not sure about that one. I think the commercials could use some more data in them. The one commercial also really stuck out with me. They talked about clubs, and I think that's really cool. Even though your student is at home on their computer doing like a cyber school environment, that they're still able to do clubs and interact with students on not just academics, but other things as well. So that's all I have for you. I'm super excited to get started with class and keep learning about online teaching. Thank you.